It is Friday, July 5th, 2013. We are doing webinar number 74, and this morning we have from PCSoft, Marc and Emmanuel. We're lucky to have them here to talk about replication of HyperFileSQL client server and maybe answer some questions and give us some insights to other things. But anyway, here you go.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Marc. So hello everybody. I work at PCSoft for almost 10 years this year. I think I've already met some of you in Las Vegas in the WINDEV 2011, and I will present this webinar with Emmanuel. So I give the mic to Emmanuel to introduce himself.
Hello everybody, I'm Emmanuel. I'm working at PCSoft for longer than Marc, and I will assist him during this presentation.
Okay. Does everybody hear us? Because we just had a while loop in the sound, so.
Yeah. Somebody must have just come in and made that sound, but you sound perfect.
Okay, thank you. So let's start talk about HyperFileSQL replication, and the main subject will be how to set up a replication, how to configure the server, and how to set up a replication between two servers. So first thing to do is to configure the main server, to connect to the main server with the HyperFileSQL control center. Here it is. Connect to the server. Here it's server 1 on port 9400. Okay. In the pane configuration, we select replication. And here is the place we have to configure the server. So first thing to ask yourself is whether this server is the master. It will be the server master which will replicate its data. So we check the checkbox. You can check the second checkbox if this server is subscriber too. It can be either master, either subscriber, or both of them. So server is subscriber when it can receive data. So we're gonna check this checkbox too. Then you specify the port for receiving the replicated data. So it's different from the connection port to the server because it's a specific port to transmit data, replicated data. So be aware to open all of these ports in the firewall. Then you specify the password for the replication. The password is mandatory. It will secure all the replicated data transferring between all the servers in the replication. Okay, so the next step is to specify a unique server identifier. So this is very important because it will be used in the unique identifier calculation. So it's very important to specify a unique server identifier between all the server used in the replication. And you have another text box on the right, the priority if conflicts are managed by priority. You can manage conflicts by server priority. So you specify a priority for the server in here, in this text box. And then whenever a conflict happens, the HyperFileSQL server will check this priority and take the higher, the lower. The lower the integer is, the more priority. I'm sorry. The more important is the server. And don't forget to click on apply. Okay, so here our main server is configured, is set up. So we're gonna do the same thing on the second one, on the subscriber server. Still in HyperFileSQL Control Center, pane configuration, replication. This will be master 2 because we can add data in this server too, and this server will be subscriber 2. The port will be the same. No, I'm sorry. You can change the port in order to listen on different ports. I think it's just a sec.
About the port for the replicated data. In our example, the two servers are on the same computer. So I have to use different ports for the HyperFileSQL connection. The first server is on 4900 and the second server 4910. And I also use two different ports for the replicated data, 4996 and 95 for the second server. The password for replication can also be different. No, excuse me. The password for the replication must be the same on both servers. On all servers in the replication process. Here we have only two servers, but we could have installed more. I give a unique server identifier to the second server too. We won't be using the priority conflict management, so there's no need to give a priority number to our servers. Now I apply the changes to the second server too.
Do you have any question about the server configurations, or you want to ask question later, or?
If you want to do the questions and answers later, we can. Otherwise, I'll open up the chat here where people can type in their questions. Then I'll let you know if there's questions. But right now, I don't see any questions. Does anybody have any questions? Go ahead and type in the chat.
Okay.
Pete, do you want me to turn your mic on? Let me just turn his mic on. Pete and Fabrice. Okay, I have both their mics on. Pete, go ahead.
Nope. That's the contrary. That's the lower the number is, the higher priority it is.
The lower the number, the higher.
So 0. If you were configuring it, you would want your master to be 0 and your submasters to be 1, 2, 10, whatever.
That's it. Exactly.
And Fabrice, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Yes, the replication. One of the big problems of replication is the conflict when two users are modifying the same record at the same time in the same cycle of replication. So,
Fabrice, can you talk closer to the mic? Can you speak closer to the mic or turn that volume up?
Is it better like this? Hello?
No.
Yeah.
A little better.
A little.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yes. Okay, so the replication conflict, is it managed at the field level or the record level? If we have two users modifying the same record at the same time in the same cycle? Is it will the information be merged at field level, or is the last record in winning? How is it working?
It's specified. You can specify it in the replication parameters. We're gonna see that a little later.
Okay, so
you can
perhaps it's better
by default it can. As you want.
Yeah, it's up to Marc.
About things that you're going to tell us.
Okay, so let's continue about configuring the replications, and let's see the question after.
Yeah, there's that's fine, but there's one question here you might want to pick up. It says, should the list of replications show the two servers now?
So no, because the list of we haven't defined any replications yet. So we have two servers implied in a replication, configured to accept, to allow replications, but no replication has been defined yet. So the list of replications describe and lists every replications that are defined on this server. Is that clear, or?
Okay, David, does that answer your question? Yep.
Okay.
Nope, he says nope. That didn't answer his question. Andy, do you want to try and clarify that?
Okay. What he's done is defined that it can do replication, not the fact that you've done replication as yet. So he's defined the two servers that it is capable of doing the replication, but until he actually defines the replication itself, you won't see it in the list. That's right. You're right. We'll start it later then, David. Yes. That's what I think that's what he's fixing to do, David, is to start the definition of how the replication is going to be. And once you've linked the two servers together in the definition of the replication, that's when you'll start seeing it here in your list.
Yes,
okay.
That's it.
Okay, cool. So go ahead and continue. Thank you.
The last thing I thought I'd be is a French translator.
Oh my goodness.
On the master server, we click on the link to create a new replication, to define a new replication. So wizard opens. Okay, so we choose the type of replication, the kind of replication we want. So we have choice between single directional replications or bidirectional replication. In here, we want a bidirectional replication to send data and collect data from every server. I'm sorry, just... Okay, so we click Next. In this plane, we choose the server destination. So here is the second server, the subscriber server, server 2. The port for sending the replicated data. It's...
As you remember, we changed this port. So I type in the port I gave in the HyperFileSQL control center. And now I have to give the password for the replication.
Remember, this password must be the same for all the servers and all the replications. Okay. Then we choose the elements to replicate. So we have the choice between the entire content of the server. We can choose only a database or a selection of database and or file.
To show you the functionality, we will use a selection of database and or file.
Okay, just a little tip. If you can see a check, I want to exclude some files from the replications. From the replication, sorry. This checkbox is used when you choose to replicate a database or a database. I'm sorry, a full database. This when you choose to replicate a database, all the new files will automatically be included in the replications. If you choose to replicate a database and exclude some file, it can be exclude I don't know, a zip code file or something like that, and this zip code file won't be ever replicated, even if there is any new files which are created. You can also choose a selection of database and/or files and select all the files but the zip code. And if you choose a selection of database and/or file and there is any new file in your analysis, these new files will not be included in the replication. I don't know if it's clear or not. Everybody got it? Yes? Okay. Okay. Yes. The other checkbox is to perform an initial copy of the elements, so to replicate towards the destination server. This copy will let both of the servers and all the servers implied in the replication to start with the same database. So every adding in one side will be added in the other side, and every update in one side will be added in the other side. Okay.
Another precision about the replication. To use the HyperFileSQL replication, all your files must have a primary key or an 8-byte automatic identifier item. The 8-byte automatic identifier is very important. So it's the main change you will have to do on your project when you want to use the HyperFileSQL replication. We will talk again about this a little later.
Okay, so we click on next. We choose the elements we want to replicate. Oh, just a precision. Remember, we choose a selection of database and/or files. So we can choose databases or file. So Emmanuel choose some files. I don't know, one category, orders, stock, supplier. That's it. Or the line maybe. Yes, that can be useful. And the customer. Okay. Next, then we specify the scheduling for the replication of servers. So we can specify, you can have the replication being periodic, so every day at 8 p.m. for example, or in continuous mode. It's a streaming mode. It's almost real-time mode. So I say almost real because it's not real time. We don't wait whenever we add or whenever we modify the record. We don't wait for the record to be modified in all the servers implied in the replication. We modify servers, give back a return, and then send the modify or the add command to the other servers. Is that clear? Yes. Okay, I saw a question.
Oh, okay. Do you want to take questions now? Okay, so let's see. The one David King asks, can this functionality be achieved with the supplied HyperFile in Android and Windows CE systems as well?
So this functionality is about server side only. So it's a replication from a server to another server. So There is no you can't install an HyperFileSQL server on an Android system or a Windows CE system, so you can't have this replication working in Windows CE or Android.
Okay.
Is that okay?
So you have to use web services or something like that from Android or anything other than something that is supportable by the control center, the HyperFileSQL control center. Correct?
I didn't get it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead again.
It is the way it looks is that the HyperFile control center is what manages that. So unless you can, unless the server is managed by the HyperFile control center, you're not going to be able to replicate it.
No, that's not exactly that, because the HyperFile control center
there is no server on mobile.
Hold on, Pete. Go ahead.
Yes, I was just saying the HyperFile control center can be used to administrate a lot of databases as classic databases or server databases, but this replication is only server side. It's only from a server to a server.
Right, and that's why it won't work on Android
server.
or iPad or
Yeah,
so it can't work. That's the reason why it won't work on those.
Okay, and then
exactly.
Yeah, and then Pete has a question. He says, "Can you do a manual copy for the initial copy for large databases for the replication?" Do you see that question?
Yes, I can see that question. I'm not sure about it, but just if you can wait just a sec, we're gonna get the info and tell you.
Sure. Yeah. No problem.
Let me make the questions larger so you can finish these questions if you want to. Okay. Does that replication field have to have, which replication field? Have to have a certain name?
I think he was talking about the auto ID is what he was talking about, Arnold.
Okay.
No, there's no name, no particular name to be to have for the replication to be working.
Okay, and here's another question: can we replicate databases other than HF?
For the moment, I said no because it's designed for HyperFileSQL server side, but I'm not sure about the evolution of this functionality. Maybe we can in the future, but now it's not possible.
Okay. Jeff asks, if data is replicated from a mobile device to one server, then the data would be replicated to the other server, correct? Isn't it server to server, Andy?
Yeah, that's what it's, but see, once he gets it from the mobile device to a server, then that server can replicate it to any number of another servers.
Yeah. So it's server to server, but it's...
Yeah. But I want to back up just a second to that last statement, okay, where it seemed to say that that this would only replicate HyperFileSQL servers. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
It won't replicate, say, to MS SQL to HyperFile?
No. Actually,
so this setup is just for HyperFile, right?
Hold on. Because according to the documentation, that didn't seem to be the case, that I could replicate from Postgres or over, as long as the native driver, I could replicate from Postgres or something else.
Okay, so you can replicate from any other database to HyperFile with the universal replication.
Okay,
it's
with the universal.
It's a replication done by programming with RPL functions, W language functions.
Okay, so in essence, we have to write that.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
I think Emmanuel have the info.
Yeah, I
Well,
have an answer for the
get
PIT
into
question.
it.
You can do a manual copy for the initial copy. The way to proceed is you set up the replication, and then you stop the server process before any modification occurs on the database, and then you copy your database to the second server, and you re-enable the server.
Okay, so you have to go ahead and manually do it, shut it down, copy it, then you can restart.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's similar to what we did with Postgres.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Looks like we're pretty caught up with questions, right? As far as I can see.
Can we continue? Or
yes.
Yes.
Yes, and you just anytime you want to stop for questions, just go ahead. But go ahead and continue, please. Thank you.
Okay. So we were at the scheduling of replications. So I was telling you that the continuous mode is almost real time because it's asynchronous. I think the word is that. So it's up to you. It's up to you to decide what you want. Here we're gonna take the continuous mode. Click on next. Okay, now we define how the servers will manage conflicts. So we have the choice between the more recent. So the more recent record is the record that has priority, or the priority is used. The server priority is used to manage conflicts. Do you remember? The server priority is the priority we type in this text box, just in here, in the server configuration, or you can handle conflict by programming with a stored procedure. So you just enter the name of the stored procedure to be called whenever there is a conflict, and you can check this checkbox to fill. If you don't check this checkbox, all the items will be filled. So you're gonna have access to all the items of the record, and if you check this checkbox, only the items in conflict will be filled. So this can be an answer to the question of Fabrice earlier. When he asked about the conflict management, is if it's handled by the record or by item. I don't know if it answers your question, Fabrice.
He has another. He says it doesn't answer fully.
Not really.
Yes.
Yeah,
go ahead, Fabrice.
Clearly, we can do it by programming, and that's great. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Hello? Okay.
Yes, Fabrice. Okay.
Okay,
yes.
We can do it by programming, so clearly we can do whatever we want, but if we don't do it by programming, how is it managed? So if at the same time we have two users modifying one customer record, one is changing the phone number, the other is changing the address, is that considered a conflict? Will the two new information be merged, or is the replication at the really record level?
No. If you don't do the conflict resolution by programming, it depends
that's not the question.
on the method you choose. If you choose to use the more recent, in every case the resolution will be done on the record level.
Oh, so it's
If you
by
choose to use
record.
the more recent record, if you choose to use the more recent
That's not
record, you will have to have all the servers in the replication synchronized. That answers to your other question, Fabrice. You have to synchronize the clocks of the servers.
If I understand correctly, if in the same cycle of replications at the same second, I have two users on two different servers, one is modifying the telephone number, the other is modifying the address. If we do the more recent solving conflict system, I'm going to lose one of the two information. Because it's managed at the record level and not the field level.
They won't be exactly on the same microsecond. The server will receive one modification and the other.
Yeah, but the modification is not. It's not the full record that has been modified. It's only one field. Yeah. So the problem is that it's only one field that has been modified, and it's the whole record that is replicated.
If you use the automatic resolution.
Okay, can you hear the question? I mean, the question basically is it field by field? So if you have two people with a conflict, one for field 1 and one for field 2, if it's by record, then the most recent wins. Is that true? If you pick more recent, even though they're different fields that were changed.
Yeah, that is the replication we are showing you today is a replication. That's different from the cluster. If you are in the scenario you are talking about, you should use a cluster, a HyperFileSQL cluster, because in that case the two access will be synchronized, and so the second application that will try to overwrite the modification done by the first will receive a conflict error. Am I clear?
Yeah, but there is no conflict. That's the point. There is no conflict. The two users have modified different fields, so there shouldn't be a conflict.
There is no conflict.
There should be only if it's at the field level. But it seems that your replication is only at the record level. That's the precision I really want to have. Because if that's the case, then I have a big problem with it. Okay. That's not what I need in a replication.
So the replication is at the record level, because we don't have any possibilities to know whether which field has been modified. Because for example, you have a client A which has modified, who had modified, I'm sorry, the address, and client B who had modified the telephone number. So when the server will get the modify from client A, so on the address, he has no idea to know whether there is it's only the whether the address has been modified on client A or client B. So we can do it could if we store that time and timestamp on every field to know exactly which field has been modified and when.
Well, in fact, when you modify record on server A, you know by comparing the old value of the record to the new one which field have been modified. This is how I've been building replication system for my customers. So. Clearly you can know it too, and you can send only that information, and it reduces the flux of information between servers too. So it's possible. I was just asking if it was done or not, so it's not. Okay.
Your other option is a note replication that you can.
But
I was going to say
you have another
option. Sorry.
There is another replication available with WINDEV. You can use the universal replication, which allows you to resolve conflict at the field level.
At the field level. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, Andy.
Yeah.
I guess if Fabrice has key fields that he wants to, I guess he could change his database and have. No, it doesn't matter. What he's
Well,
just giving an example. He's just giving an
some
example.
of the when I was into doing a lot of replication between Sybase and other languages, one of the functionalities that I realized what it was doing for its replication is it wasn't storing the record that was changed, it was storing the actual SQL statements that made the change. So in other words, if I was changing the address and the telephone number and Fabrice was changing the address and I was changing the telephone number, I would have an update statement in there that would be update customer set telephone number equal this, where ID equals this. That's what you got, and the date timestamp. Fabrice would have on his date timestamp update customer set address equal this, where ID equals this, and time, and with this timestamp. And in essence, at that point, it resolves the issue because the only thing the replication is doing is taking the log of SQL statements that's happened to the server and applying them. That's all it's doing. And it becomes fairly simple that way in doing so because you're trapping the SQL statements that's happening on the server. The universal replication, of course, that really is kind of the area that most everybody's going to have to really delve into, because if you're doing two-way replication is the issue. A single one-way replication, this is what you would use, but a two-way replication, you would have to use the universal. Otherwise, two different people would be overriding. Whoever sent up the record last would win. That's it. And it would be whatever his last version was.
Okay. I don't know if you answered the questions about more recent. So if servers are not in sync as far as time goes, how do they determine which server won?
Use UTC time.
Yes. The manual starts about explaining this point. When you choose solving conflicts by the more recent record, you have to synchronize time of the servers, but the the server times are synchronized in UTC time, and there is a little margin. I don't know if the word in English is margin. About a minute to synchronize. If you don't synchronize the server's time, you will be a W language error exception. Which will tell you that the times are not synchronized.
Okay, so that error goes to the developer to respond to that. I mean, is that an error message that the end user is going to see?
I think it's more to the network administrator to synchronize the time of the servers by an NTP server or by domain. I don't know. I think if the servers are accessed by the internet, an NTP server is a more reliable solution. And if the servers are on a local network, you should use a domain.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to continue? I think we're pretty much caught up. Oh, wait, I think I was under, Carlos asked, I was under the impression that two persons cannot modify the same record at the same time. That's correct, right, Andy?
There is a little, I just want to add a little precision about that. Because as you can see, we choose the streaming mode, so the continuous mode. So the conflict risk is minimized to its maximum, because continuous mode will send modification. I said as soon as they arrived on the server. So the conflict risk is is really minimized. More than if you choose a periodic replication every day or every night. So just that was just a little precision I wanted to add, because two people that modify the same record on the same time with this continuous mode is very rare.
Okay. I don't know why Brian says no, but go ahead. You might.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't use them as SQL replica.
Okay. Mark, go ahead.
Okay, so about conflict resolution, that's it. So yes, let's move on. We choose more recent, okay, and then we just have to determine to end the wizard. I don't know if Emmanuel checks the checkbox that copies the first the initial data. Yes, that's it. Okay, so let's end this wizard, and this wizard will start copying all the data to the subscriber server, and also verify the analysis to be sure every file implied in this replication has an 8-byte unique identifier. So about this 8-byte unique identifier, I just have a precision to add about this. We ask all the developers to add or to move from a 4-byte unique identifier to an 8-byte unique identifier in order to handle the duplicates, because the server identifier, this one, will be added in the unique identifier of each record added on this server. So on the master server, every record will have on this unique identifier the identifier of the server, one for the master and two for the subscriber. So that's why we ask to have an 8-byte unique identifier. I don't know if Manuel, do you have something to add or no? That's the main point of this one. Another precision: when you change in the analysis from a 4-byte unique identifier to an 8-byte identifier, you have to be sure every place in your code when you get this identifier in an integer, you have to be sure this integer is able to handle an 8-byte integer. So you have to be sure every time in your code you use this identifier. Is that okay for everybody? Yes. Let's talk about the questions.
Sure. Fabrice, since you're asking the two questions, you want to go ahead? You got the mic.
Sure. When we have to change the analysis, we need to update all our programs, and now instead of having to update one server, we need to update all the servers. So how do we manage that? Which is the proper order to do the things? Hello?
Hey, Mark,
yes, we're just thinking about it.
What they're thinking about.
Okay.
So while you're thinking, hey Andy, they're doing setups, right? Not necessarily maintenance right now, right?
Yeah, they're doing setups. You know, maintenance is an issue. I would think the logical method would be your master database then downwards, but I mean, you know, unless there's something already in there to tell it to do the do the modifications across the board, I don't know that you do it.
Yeah.
But
it looks to me that the only way is to stop all servers, do the update of all servers, do the update of all clients, and then it works again. But it's
yeah,
I was asking if there was
to,
any automatic way of doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, Fabrice. You would have to shut off this replication until that's done. Especially if
you have if your modifications are compatible. Yes, I think the word exists in English. If your modifications are compatible, you can use any applications that use. I'm sorry, I got info from my back. Apparently, the modifications of the analysis is replicated too. So you only have to modify the analysis on one server, and then it will be replicated alone.
Cool.
Also, it is more automatic.
Is it the main server, or any server will do?
And any server will do. In the case you have checked great. All the servers are master and subscribers at the same time.
In our example, we would do the automatic modification of the structure on the server 1 because it is the one that has the full database. We replicated only a part of the database on the server 2, so we won't be able to modify the tables.
Makes sense. And what happened for the error handling when there's one server not working, the network is down, it's over the internet, whatever? How is that handled? Do we get an email with the? Is there a way to set an email to get the error? Is there an automatic restart? Is there a time after which we have to reset something?
No, there is an automatic restart. For example, in the continuous mode, I tell you a number, but I don't know about this number. For example, it sends all the modification every minute. So, if there is a network breakdown, one modification cannot be sent. It will be restarted automatically a minute later. If it couldn't reach the subscriber server, it will be restarted 2 minutes later, and so on, until it recovers the connection. Is that okay? Is that clear?
Okay, and do we have an email from the system saying there's an error? Because I know that there's a notification system in the configuration. I'm wondering if this kind of error is going to be sent.
Just checking about that. Emmanuel is asking the developer about this.
Yeah, this is the kind of information that I find that is missing in the help file. It's really the error handling and the crash cases. What do we do when this happens? Yes. That's perhaps something that you could work a little more on, because that's really a question that is in the mind of basically every developer. What will happen if? And that's something that we generally don't have, yes, unfortunately.
Okay, I give the mic to Emmanuel, which
okay. About the question from Fabrice, if there is a problem on the network, for example, at the moment of a replication, a notification will be generated And according to the configuration you see here, the server may send an email or a message with the WINDEV messaging system to inform you that the replication couldn't take place.
Okay, so if let's say one of the server is down for an hour and the replication is trying to replicate every minute, we're going to get 60 emails?
No, there
it doubles the time every time, the time of check every time. So the first time it will be 1 minute, the second time it will be 2 minutes, the third time 4, etc.
But each
Is
time
this,
we will get
is this logged
a maximum.
I'm sorry. I had a question. Are these notifications logged somewhere when it's sent out?
Yes, they are logged in the server, so you can access it by the notification pane in the control center, and you have all the list of the notifications that has been sent or stored in the server.
Cool. Thank you. Fabrice, did you get your answer on that?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Okay. And P, let's see, did we have any other questions? Can you, Andy, you see anything out there? Okay, Jack. Jack had a question. Is it possible to set up replication?
Give an example. I'm typing some stuff.
Oh, okay. Okay. Jack asks, is it possible to set up replication for a SCM database since the tables are password protected?
So by now it's not possible to set up a replication for the SCM database, but you can set up a replication for your database with passwords table protected. So you just have to specify the password. I don't think about it. No, you don't even have to specify the password. The problem in the SCM is at the unique identifier level by now, but we're working on it and see what we can do about it.
Yeah, that'd be a great example of replication, right? Okay. Wolfgang, what did you ask? When the failure notification is sent, do we also then get the reinstatement notification? Like things are fixed? Is that what you mean, Wolfgang?
I think so. I'm not sure about it. I think we have a reinstatement notification to tell us that it works again. And if not, I'm gonna ask about it.
Okay. All right, Charles is asking. He says, "I tried with my." Whoops. I gotta make that bigger. Okay, I tried with my application having 7 branches and 1 head office, and when the application was updated on 1 branch with a structure change, all the HFCS structure was updated automatically on all the other servers, and the application failed on the other side what's that saying?
That's what we talked about earlier.
Problem
Yes.
there, Arnold, is that his applications in the field didn't get updated, so they were still expecting the old structure.
Yes, that's it. So to solve this case, you have to make sure your modifications are compatible and and check in your code that the structure are only compatible but not identical.
Well, or you just need to have all the applications updating automatically each time they start via the web at the same time that you're updating the server. So you will eventually have a conflict that you can trap with an exception, and if you have that exception, then you just again go on the server to get the new version of the application.
Yes, that's another solution too.
I have another question. I'm guessing that you have tested the limit of the replication in number of servers and volume of data. Is there any reasonable limit that we should know about? Something that we shouldn't try to replicate 5,000 servers at the same time, things like that?
To be honest, I haven't these numbers in my head, and I could not tell any valid number. The replication is designed to manage I think it's 255 servers by the limit of the unique identification. So I don't know. Frankly, I don't know how to
Because that's
answer the question.
That's a question that we will need to know when we are in the real world. Is it going to crash when we have 20 servers running at the same time, or when we have 200 or 2,000? Just to have an order of magnitude in order to know that yes, we can do this, or no, there's no way we can do that. It's something that basically you are the only ones who can answer.
Yes. Yeah. Emmanuel is calling to have the info. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry to bother you with all these questions, but unfortunately it's real world questions and not easy.
Yeah, I hope the identifier is not a byte, because if it's a byte, that answered your question.
Well, if there's a problem with the throughput management anyway, and it cannot manage more than 200 servers, then if it's a byte, it's not a problem. But the question is really, what are the physical limits?
That'd be a good test for Reese.
Yeah, but where do you find 2,000 servers to do that? And the time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to imagine a system where you would do replication between 2,000 servers. I know where you would cluster. No, you would cluster 2,000 servers, but not replicate them.
I've got the limits. The limits of servers number is 32,000 servers implied in the replication.
But that's because it's 2 bytes identifier. Is it a physical limit? Can we go that far, or is it just because nobody will ever reach that level? I'm asking if there was some physical test done.
We didn't try to add this limit, but that's the theoretical limit. I'm sorry.
Theoretical.
About the physical limit, every server will only send his modification after each it's a tree. Each server will send his modification to all the servers connected to. So I think the physical limit will be hard to reach.
So what you're saying is that we should use a tree-like replication and not a centralized server with many secondary servers on it.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the beginning of your sentence.
What you're saying is that it would work better if we use several levels of server in the replication instead of one central server and 100 server around it, all replicating to the same server.
I didn't say it will work better. I said you can have more servers doing that way than with one server and multiple multiple direct subscriber. I said.
Okay.
And I think just a precision. I think that Chris has true too because that limit is certainly function about of the data being sent and the different connections.
Yeah, of course.
I think the connection will.
Yeah, and the number of data being written on each server, of course, that's normal. But it would be a good thing to know that if you made test and at 200 server the system started to crash down, that would give us an idea of what we can expect. Unfortunately, it seems that this information is not available, so we'll have to test ourselves, and it will be too late. That's the problem.
Okay, I think we can move on now. I think we got our answer. Good or bad, I don't know. So Mark,
yeah, perhaps we'll have to do a test asking all developers to put the server with one database to replicate and see what goes.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a webinar and do it at the same time, hey? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just one thing about that. Jaron speaking. Just one thing about that. As I told to Andy, I think it depends on analysis. If you will want if you will be able to modify the same record at the same time, because I don't think that I think it's a rare case to modify the same record at the same time in two different servers.
Actually, it's not. I've seen that a lot with replication systems. It's basically the problem which is happening each time you have a new customer in the company. You will have one guy who's your representative who is creating the customer and adding information in it, and then in the central branch you will have a secretary who is going to add information on our side, and because it's a new customer and it has to be managed now and not tomorrow and all that, they will be working on the same record at the same time. Unfortunately, it's happening. So of course it depends of the replication cycle. If your replication is continuous and the servers are fast enough to send information really near real time, then you don't have a lot of problem. But if you have people who are with slow connections and cannot do the replication all the time, things like that, then you end up with conflicts quite often.
Sure. I think in this case, and in the most of the case, the continuous replication is the best one.
Yeah, let me give you
absolutely when it's possible.
Let me give you a prime example of that. We have tire stores in the U.S. for putting new tires on their vehicles. Part of the issue is a lot of them are on satellite communications. So we put local databases in the stores. If you have a national customer, the customer has to be replicated between every store. When that is done and I come in from UPS into one store and UPS on another store and there's some change being made, then you can actually have databases where the UPS record is not the same. And when it gets replicated, whoever's last wins.
Sure.
And I have another example that is real life too. When you have a commercial representative that have their own laptop and they need to replicate to the server. They have a local database, HyperFile client server in that case, on their machine, and during the whole day they are making changes in their customer files. But they replicate only when they arrive at the hotel in the evening. And at that point, well, if somebody made changes during the day on the same record on the central site, then you have conflict also. So it's not simple.
You can manage this this kind of conflict with a stored procedure. So you can merge. Yes, it's manual, but you can merge and handle your conflict like this by programming and merge yourself your the different fields.
Is there some information about how this store procedure should be structured somewhere?
In the online help, I think in the online help it will be described.
Yeah, I was going to ask the exact same question, because there's a couple of other areas where, you know, we have the ability to do some of this extension by stored procedure, but we don't really have any examples of how to write that stored procedure to do that.
Yes, I think Emmanuel is writing it to make an example in the product, so you can have an example about that.
Awesome, thank you. That'd be great.
Examples are always good. Yep. Okay. Would you like to keep continue then?
I think we are done about the replication. So by now we have configured all the servers, defined the replication. Just go back to the pane, to configuration pane. So we have our replications in the list in here. We can modify, add another one, or delete this one. And this one is in continuous mode. So every update in my database in the files I selected to be implied in the replication will be replicated on the server 2. So from here, my database is replicated. So I think we are done about our subject today.
Do you need to define the replication on both sides? Because you said that it was
Nope,
it can receive and send, but do you need to? Sorry?
No, only one side. The description of the replication is sent by the server.
Yeah, earlier Fabrice, he opened up the other server and we saw that it showed up on the list of replications for the other server also.
Oops. Okay. I'm sorry, it was already here. In here. So the server 1 is replicated with the server 2, and the and the server 2 is replicated with the server 1.
So
is that okay?
We don't need to stop the replication to update the database. Am I correct?
Nope. You don't need to stop. The update of the database is sent through network by the replication. So.
Yes, but at the same time, the data that is being replicated while we are doing the update is going to be resent afterward, I'm guessing. It's automatic.
Yes. Yes. We have a PDF file for you. It's a little explanation about the topic we just saw today. I don't know how.
Give it to Arnold.
You can go ahead and paste it. You can go ahead and paste it there in the chat.
The link to it.
Yeah. Put
yes.
the paste to the link. And you wanted me to make it available to.
Yeah. Just put on
in the chat. Is it possible?
Just Skype it to me, and I will put it on the website.
Okay.
Or have Jerome do it to one of us. Either one is fine.
Yep. So is there any other questions on today's topic? Let's see.
Yes, it looks like it does say directional Wolfgang.
Okay. Emmanuel is sending you the PDF.
Yep. Okay. And I will post. Let me see if I can do that here now. Let's see.
I think it's okay. One question here. Okay. David King says, I see add, modify, and delete in the replication. How do you stop and start them? I think it's that checkbox that says, no, I'm sorry. How do you shut down the service for a short time? We lose them? Did I lose them?
More recent.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yes, I think you can stop the execution of a replication by editing the replication properties and editing the scheduling properties. From continuous mode, you check periodic every month, so it will be stopped for a month.
So in other words, okay, I got you. You basically reset it to do something long period to give you time to finish it and then change it back.
Yes, I think that's the best way to do that.
Okay. We do have the WINDEV WX DevCon conference here in just a minute. We're gonna go over where we're at. It's going to be very short, 5-10 minutes. This kind of shows you, because I'm already starting to work on the mobile device for the Chatterbox. Pete's working on additional stuff on the website for the Chatterbox, so we're going to bring you up to date and publish some new source code this weekend for all of the attendees. So stick around for a couple minutes. We'd appreciate it. I want to really thank you, our friends across the pond, as they say, for bringing this to us and doing a deal. Hopefully you don't feel too abused or beat up from us, but we certainly appreciate it. We certainly appreciate it.
And we look forward to any other topics that might come up that we can communicate with Jerome if there's topics that we might want to cover, or you might want to cover. And we'll be happy to.
Feel free to send the topics you want.
I think that something on the universal replication would be awesome.
Oh, just to continue on this topic, you mean?
Yeah, I think because the replication is a big thing that has gone back and forth for years. I mean, I mean, it started. First replication I tried to mess with was in Sybase back in what, mid '90s, late '90s. And it ended up being a nightmare. But I mean, replication is something that we continually have to deal with now. The more distributed people are, and the more mobile people are, there are certain things that the universal replication seems more to fit what a lot of us are looking at for real live type systems that we would develop, as in the one Fabrice is looking at and the ones I have to look at. So, and the Chatterbox, I'm looking at doing the universal replication for the Chatterbox. So, I mean, the more info we got on this, I've been reading through some of the online help on this, and the only thing that's kind of unclear is exactly what the data fields. There's one deal for the RPL file that has the data fields that were changed. So, more universal replication would be great. I think that more of that would be fantastic. And, if they don't feel like they've been beat up too much about it, we'd love to have another one in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, Mark.
I think adding clustering to that as well, because I think that was one thing that on all the conflicts and stuff that got a little confusing is, if you're in a network environment where you're just throwing down servers for performance because of the number of users and stuff, clustering is your right solution, not replication. And clustering you wouldn't have those conflict issues and stuff. So, I think that would be the other half of that conversation is clustering and the difference between that and replication and why one versus the other.
That's good. That'd be a good one too. Anyway, thanks again. We really, really appreciate y'all. More than you can believe, your involvement on our side, the pond over here, is greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated.
Thank you for you.
Thank you very much to you to listen to us.
And we look forward to.
And be sure we have noted all your suggestions and all the topics you want to be covered. So we're gonna see with Jerome and the director if we should continue the webinar.
Yeah.
And if yes, be sure we will be present in the next ones.
Perfect. All right, awesome. Yeah, discuss it over a bottle of good wine, right?
Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording now. And again, thank you from everybody here.